Don't Worry, Darling had to deal with the accusation of Spitgate, had to deal with arguments between the lead and the director, arguing on set with shouting matches, and the director tiptoeing off with her boyfriend, who's also in this movie. I guess they went to, do the Wilde thing, and then come back and film some more of the scene. Did all this hurt this film in the chemistry that we were hoping this film could be? Well, don't worry, darling. We're about to find out. Now that we're in the fourth quarter of the year, we're starting to get all these type of movies that just want to put their name out for Academy Awards and hopefully get picked for either Best Film, Best Actor, Supporting Actors, Cinematography, you name it. This is the time of year you think you put your best film out that studios do, and hopefully one of these hit and you bring home the gold. So this movie is starting Florence Pugh as Alice, Harry Styles as Jack, Chris Pine as Frank, Gemma Chan as Shelley, and finally the director of this film, Olivia Wilde, plays Bunny. So I'm gonna break this down with this film. This is gonna be like a non-spoiler. I kind of want to spoil it because there's some things at the end of the film I just still can't really wrap my head around what they were thinking when they put this film together. The Rotten Tomatoes scores, as you can see right now, is just not good for this film. I think right now, at the time I'm recording this, is at 38%. However, it's not that bad. Like, that rating is really bad. It makes it think like this movie is unwatchable, but this movie is actually good. Like the first half up to the last part of the second half is really good, and then you get to the second half of the film, wheels are kind of turning a little bit off the wheels. I mean, it just let's just get into it. I'm gonna break this down to the good and the flaws of this film, and then give you my final thoughts with the score and if I'm gonna recommend this movie or not for you to watch. So let's get into what I liked about this film. First half of this film is really good. It's just, I gotta say, Florence Pugh, her performance in this film is fantastic. I mean, I don't even know what's going on with the drama that happened on set, but whatever was going on, it seemed like she's just like locked in once the camera was on and rolling, and she was absolutely phenomenal in this movie. And she had to carry this film. She's the main character in this film, and all eyes are on her in this film. It's her story, so she has to do a great job. So this film heavily relied on her performance. She had to get all the notes right. It didn't matter if it was a movie or a scene that had suspense, or it had a scene where she's trying to figure out this mystery, or anything that came on, or happiness or joy of when her husband comes home from work. She had to show all her range in this film to make you believe that everything that she was feeling in this movie was legit. And she did a fantastic job. She knocked it out of the park. And I kind of hope that she does get recommended for at least a nomination for his performance, which she was absolutely fantastic when it came to all the parts, all the feelings that she needed to hit in this film to make you believe that what she was going on, no matter what kind of scene it was, either a scene when her husband comes home, she's happy, or a scene that there's intense and some mystery, she saw those scenes and she made you believe that what was going on was actually happening. The story of this film in the first half was really good. Everything was seemed perfect and great in this world. It just seemed like nothing could go wrong. And then she started noticing, things were going on with other people. And then, it started creating more mystery, what was going on. And then finally she gets to the opportunity where it's a thing that happens to her, and she realizes that this world may not be real, but she's kind of questioning it. She's not sure if it's real or not. She doesn't know what's going on, and she's trying to figure out answers to her questions. This is figure out what's going on in this world. And I thought that the movie did well building up this story to where it made it seem like she was trying to understand what's going on in this world, and it also helps the viewer to understand that, hey, something is not right. What's going on? What's real? What's not real? We're gonna get to the flaws of this film, and unfortunately this movie has a lot of flaws. The second half and the third half of the film just felt absolutely rushed, and it was some notes and parts of this film that I kind of wish they would have stuck the landing on, because it would have made the movie 10 times better, but they just glossed through it. And unfortunately, with them doing that, it was just like kind of disappointing. And it's kind of hard to really go well in details of these flaws, because it's kind of like spoilers. But I'm gonna do my best to try to make it broad as possible. So, you know, if you're interested in seeing this film, you can see what I'm talking about. Like I said before, that 38% Rotten Tomato score does not mean that this movie is unwatchable. This movie, you can watch this film. The performances from the people in this movie are good, and the story starts out well. It's just that when you got a good story, if you don't stick the landing, it's gonna be tough to keep the critics and the audience happy. One of the main flaws of this film is actually like a trickle down of other flaws as well, that kind of builds up to what's wrong with this film. And one of them is just, once you figure out what's really going on in this film, there's really no explanation of how all this occurred. For example, Chris Pine's character, Frank, is kind of like the leader. He's kind of like a YouTuber, influencer kind of guy. He's the guy that's running this Victory Project, and you know, he's got these people living in his city called Victory City. Once things are out in the open and you figure out what's going on, you know, first I want to say Chris Pine was absolutely amazing. He would have been the perfect villain in this film if they had like more depth of him. But because they didn't do that, he's just not really a good villain. And what they did was what really disappointed me. They had this cat and mouse with Alice and Frank, and I wanted more of that, and they just gave like maybe one scene, and the scene is actually in the trailer. It's the dinner scene where everybody's at Jack's and Alice's house, and they play a little cat and mouse game. Frank knows that Alice knows what's going on, and he kind of just like, you know, baiting her, hey, you know, let's do this, let's do this. And she actually takes the bait and she goes for it. I would have loved to see them two trying to outsmart each other, outwit each other, trying to figure out, you know, one, Alice is trying to figure out what's going on with this world that they're in, and two, Frank trying to stop her from actually finding out what's really going on and not letting everybody else know what's going on as well. So I was disappointed in that, because they didn't really go far deep into that cat and mouse game. And I thought it would have been perfect just to see two people battling, to see, you know, mentally and using your wit to figure out, you know, what's going on really in Victory City. And like I said before, once you figure out what's going on, there's no explanation at all when it comes to, you know, how did we get here? How do we get to Victory City? What is Victory Project? How do these people get here? Like, there's absolutely none. And, you know, that hurts, because there's characters in this movie that actually know what's going on. Olivia Wilde's character knew what's going on this whole time. And it would have been nice to see why she chose to be here. But they don't go into that, so you understand how do people get into this world. You understand why they want to be in this world. And understand also the effects of them being in this world is how it affected them maybe, you know, out in the real world. You know, for them not to really talk about those things and just like gloss over that, it's just a huge flaw, and it's missing in the story. And if you could take a couple minutes just explaining what things are going on, or a quick flashback or a quick scene showing where that person's at really, and be like, oh, okay, I understand why they want to be in this world, because the life is better. But when you don't explain that, it becomes very frustrating for the audience, and you know, it's something that was definitely lacking in this film. I don't like saying it's a flaw, because I actually like these sequences. Some sequences it was full of art. And I feel like some of those sequences that they could have used that was full of art, they could have used those times to either, you know, explain some things that was going on in this world. So you fill in the gaps, these huge gaps that's actually in this film, to actually connect everything together to make a great story, a consistent story, to where you understand what's really going on. But I did like what they were doing with some of the art stuff, the arty stuff they were doing in the film, but I felt like they lost the opportunity to actually explain what's going on to the audience. Last thing, this is not really a flaw. I mean, Harry Styles was good in this film. He was pretty decent. I would say like some of the emotional, dramatic, intense scenes, he still needs to work on those. But everything else that he was in this film that he did, I thought he did a pretty good job. But I would say if they had maybe a stronger co-star to play along with Florence Pugh, it probably would have been a stronger connection. And my final thoughts of this film is this movie started off great, you get to the middle, you understand what's going on, you're like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Let's see where they go, and then they don't go there. And when you do that, you have so many open gaps to where it becomes very frustrating while you're watching this movie. But you gotta get to the point where you gotta decide if you like this film or not. And I feel like some people they did not like this film because there was missing a lot of gaps in this film. Even though the performances from the actors in the movie was actually good and phenomenal by Chris Pine and Florence Pugh, it's just lacking when it comes to the story. It's nothing like watching or reading a book, watching a movie or reading a book, and then you get to the end, and the end is so bad that you're just so mad that you wasted all that time reading that book or watching that movie. And that's how I feel about this film. It was just the opportunity they had. They could have gone anywhere with this and just explain what was going on, and I felt like that would have been sufficient. But they didn't do that. This movie's not that bad, like I said before. Probably get a final score. I would give it a yellow light. Like I said before, the performances from Florence Pugh and Chris Pine, Gemma Chan, Olivia Wilde, Harry Styles is not that bad in this film. The cinematography is just absolutely beautiful in this film. I love some of the shots of this movie. The score was great too. Definitely helping certain scenes to enhance the intensity and suspense of the movie. But however, I can't forgive them for not explaining what was going on at the end of the film, to the point where how it ended too. I was kind of like, okay, well, she's in a situation when she wakes up, how she gonna get out of that? And you know, I just felt like with those things that's lacking in this film, I just have to give it a meh. That's why I'm giving it a yellow light. But that's just how I feel. But if you saw the film, what do you think about it? What was your opinions? Did you see the same issues I had with the film? Did you like the film? Do you even care that they explain what was going on or not? Let me know. Tell me in the comments below. And thank you for watching Greenlight Total Entertainment. Don't forget to subscribe, get the notification bell, and when you know the next time we upload the next video. And look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care and see you next time.